Hi girls, I'm just going to talk to you really quickly about your 2.1 research materials, tools and techniques. I thought I'd do this video just because we're all working at different paces now. I didn't want to waste a whole lesson going over this when you might really want to be working on your folio in general or on practical work. So I'm going to talk to you about it now. As you can see, I've actually got up on the screen here someone else's folio. So this is Anthony's from or Anthony, who finished school last year, who did the rocking cot, which you might have seen. It was Band 6 project. He was a really good student because not only did he have really high quality products, but he actually also had a really good language skills and could do folios really well. So I've got his up there, even though for a lot of you it wouldn't really relate because he's used timber. I think he made like a little tricycle thing. That's okay, you'll still get the idea. So what I need you to do is I need you to put together a table. The table needs to have 3 columns: resource, used for, justification. Now, if you want to split it up, you can have a table for materials, in which case you could write material here. So you'll have material, used for, and justification. Now in this column, you need to list all the different materials you needed to make your toy. So you might have cotton fabric, you might have press studs, you might have ribbon, hooks and eyes, um, some sort of string. I don't know, who knows what you will need specifically. Cotton, like cotton as in cotton thread to sew with. Um, you need to list them all here. In this column, you need to say what they're used for. So let's look at what Anthony said. So he said he needs pine as a type of timber. Pine dress, gradient, medium grade panels, down, okay. That's the material. What's it used for? The pine is going to be used for the entire job. Okay, so his entire toy was going to be made of pine. So that's a pretty obvious one. Now look at this, the justification. This is beyond what you would need to write in justification. I would say like a few lines up to maybe here-ish is a large enough amount of writing for a justification. However, you can never have too much writing for a justification. So let's see what he's written. So what we need to really do here is justify why why pine is the best for this project. Let's read what he said. The premium dress pine is used in the construction of the toy mainly due to the fact that it is a strong and durable type of timber. So he's talked about durability. Durability is probably important for his toy. So that's a great justification. This type of timber also has high aesthetics. So he also likes the look of it. Has a high aesthetics, which is important when working with timber to ensure that the project will look appealing. As this type of timber is commonly found, you are able to find it at almost any hardware store that sells timber, while also being sold at a cheap, reasonable price for its quality. In that sentence, he's justified it even further. So, first, why are we using pine? We're using because it's durable. Great. Why else are we using it? Because it's aesthetically pleasing. Great. Why else are we using it? Because it's commonly found in all hardware stores. It's easy for him to get. Why else? It is quite a cheap timber to buy. It's reasonably priced. Why else are we going to use it? Even though it's reasonably priced, it's high quality. So can you see how he's said so many different reasons why, he's justified why. And I know I keep repeating this and it probably sounds ridiculous, but I can't get over, so many people just say, I'm going to be using this for my toy in this section. I'm like, okay, you've just sort of repeated the used for again. The justification is really important. And I'm going to read you what it says in your purple booklet. List the various materials that your game or toy will be made from. Evaluate and justify the suitability of each material for use in your design, based on criteria such as function, aesthetics, cost, availability, durability, workability, or any other relevant criteria. after you've done that, I'm just going to move on. You need to then go on to tools. Now I want to find the right one for you. So we've got 21s there. Let's minimize that. This one. Okay. That's another material. So this is continuation of his column. So another one he's put is paint blue, red, grey and black, painting the entire job. And his justification is the reason for using paint over other methods of coding is that the paint allows you to cover the job in color, which will attract a young boy's attention and other people viewing the toy. Painting, so he's saying why? Because it's for his target market. That's the reason he's painting. Painting is another appropriate method as color choice is unlimited. Okay, very good. Da, 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 da. It's also quicker, is a cheaper approach than staining. So he's compared it to something. Painting also allows you to hide any marks or stains a piece of timber. So he said lots of reasons why paint is great. So he said, I'm using paint, these are the colors, what am I using it for? To paint the whole project, and why? Lots of reasons why. Okay, let's move on to tools. So he's written tools and techniques, but first he lists his tools. So the first tool is the bandsaw. What's it used for? It's used to cut materials of different shapes easily and accurately. And he said why. So it allows timber to be cut into certain shapes, rounded edges, blah blah blah. So you're going to put a lot of you might be putting sewing machine is one of them. What's it used for? It's used for joining various pieces of my project. You need to sort of explain it a bit. Why? Why is sewing machine the best tool for that purpose? Well, you can maybe compare it to hand sewing about the time consuming. Also, it's more accurate, it's sturdy, it keeps it strong, it's durable. You can overlock, so you might have overlocker as another tool. Why are you going to use the overlocker? Because it not only strengthens the garment, it provides a very neat finish. So things like that. So he's got more. So obviously his is a timber project. So he's got electric held hand sander, cordless drill bit. For all these different tools he's going to use, he's said why, and he said what it's for and why. Now we're going to also be listing things as simple as needle and thread. That is, a needle, a sewing needle is definitely a tool. You might have to have tape measure on there. There's a lot of things that you might be using that it doesn't have to be an electronic tool. Let's move on. Techniques. Okay, so painting is one of Anthony's techniques. We might have things like embroidery. We might have beading. You might have hand drawing. Some of you might actually be drawing onto your fabrics, or if you're Daisy, you're literally drawing on paper. So that's definitely a technique. Some of you might be doing applique. You might be doing some dyeing, fabric dyeing. Others will be having different computer techniques in there. So using different softwares to design the top of a board game, that itself might have multiple techniques that you can list separately. So the techniques, it's really very individualized, and it will depend on what exactly you're doing to what the technique will be. If you're Demi, for example, and if you've got numbers on your little pouches, how are they going to be attached? Is that an iron-on thing? Is it applique? Applique is definitely a better technique than just an iron-on. Or you might have a combination of, it is an iron-on, so you might be using Visofix to iron on your own numbers and letters or whatever, and then they are going to be also appliqued around the edges. This might also be for Riley as well. You might be, your letters or whatever you're putting on different patches of your quilt. Are you buying fabric that's already got letters, or maybe you can include a technique of actually attaching those letters yourself by doing applique. That will also boost your project. I'm going to read what it says in the marking criteria for this. So to get 10 out of 10 in this section, you need to identify and thoroughly justify all materials used. Then you need to, for another 10 marks, identify and thoroughly justify all tools and techniques used. So there's 10 marks allocated to tools and techniques, and then 10 marks alone allocated to your materials. But I'll tell you what, The marks come from this column. The marks come from the justification column. Everyone can list a few things and say what they're used for, but the marks really come from the thorough justification. The next column down, if you go down, it says briefly justifies. Um, that's where you start to go down. So you really need to do that thorough justification to get 10 out of 10 here. So I'm actually going to leave you to do that. And I just thought I'd show you these examples so that you can have an idea. Now I have Anthony's a photocopy of Anthony's folio on me, and I'm quite happy to email you these little scanned in examples from his justification materials, tools, techniques tables, if that will help you. So I hope this helped you a little bit. I'll just do a really quick recap. So what are we doing? We are putting a table together that has resource, used for, and justification. In your resource column, you're listing all the materials, all the tools, and all the techniques involved in your project. In your used for column, you're saying what each material is used for on your project, what each tool is used for on your project, and what techniques are used for. So where on your project is that technique going to go? If it's a certain thing, if you're doing like pleating, you might say, well, it's used for pleating the skirt of my garment. Then you need your justification. Why is this material, tool, and technique being used? Why is it the best technique? Why is it the best tool? Why is it the best material? Why is it great in terms of function, aesthetics, cost, durability, workability, quality? All of these things we talk about in this justification column. So good luck, and if you have any questions, obviously I'm there in class, but I'm not going to do a whole lesson on this. I'm going to hope that this can speak for itself, and yeah, it's going to be up to you guys if you want to get copies of this from me so you can get an idea of what Anthony was writing. And I apologize that it's not a textiles related example. Okay, I'm also sorry for my very croaky voice because it is 1:30 in the morning and I really need to go to bed. Okay, bye guys.